It's an old sweet biscuit or cookie popular in the winter months in the Canton of Zurich, and we're profiling it today on the Food Scout with Amy Eber. And you'll have to help me out here, Amy. It's called Tirggel? Tirggel?
Tirggel.
Tirggel.
T-I-R, right, Tirggel, but in Swiss German, a double G is pronounced like a K, so Tirggel.
Okay, so what is it?
Well, it's a very thin, the thickness of a 2 franc coin, very hard, lightly spiced honey biscuit with a slightly raised image on top.
All right. Well, what does the name mean?
Well, it's been variously called Tirggel, Tirgli, Dirgli. I'm sure a bunch of other names I don't even know about. One suggestion is it was named after the dialect word Torgeln, which means stirring a thick, viscous dough, which, believe me, it is.
It sounds like a really old kind of food.
Yeah, I find the story of Tirggel amazing. The first written record is found in 1461 in court documents of a witch trial. The alleged witch had been treating a very ill boy, and as part of the treatment, she fed him a little-known spiced honey biscuit, then called Dirgli. The boy died, and she was found guilty of killing him using witchcraft via this mysterious Dirgli and executed. When people learned of the trial, it sparked interest in it, and incredibly, people wanted to try it. In the 15th and 16th centuries, the difficult-to-obtain ingredients made the Dirgli a luxury item that few could afford. And up to 1840, only town bakers had the right to bake this item. After that, it became more common and was often made and sold at festivals. Now it's mainly available in the colder months around Zurich.
That's pretty amazing how it became so popular. I guess, as they say, there is no such thing as bad publicity. Anyway, you mentioned earlier, though, that there were images on the cookie itself, but it's very thin, like a 2 franc coin. How are the images made on it?
Well, historically, it was made by pressing dough into these hand-carved wooden molds. The images are always very intricate and detailed, often with lettering in addition to the pictures. So even with mass production where the images are pressed out onto the dough using a large roller, it still might require using fingers to further press the dough into the mold.
What kind of images, though?
Well, Tirggel were originally a type of communication platform, so romantic images were common, and, it's much easier to hide the evidence from your parents back then just by eating it. Biblical and historical stories could be told to those who couldn't read. By the way, I was beyond ecstatic when I came across 4 wooden molds recounting the entire story of William Tell at a secondhand shop for 8 francs each. But trades or guild occupations were also and remain popular subject. I also found a really great mold depicting traditional occupations that I bought. But some are thrown by guild members marching in the annual Zurich Sechseläuten craft association parade to this day. Wealthy families and local governments would also have their coat of arms impressed onto the Tirggel and give them out at dinners or gifts. New construction projects, such as train stations and universities, and technical novelties, the best example is the first steamship on Lake Zurich, also became popular commemorative images stamped onto these little cookies. And you can find all kinds of images now, but most do remain traditional.
Well, Amy, earlier you said that these were really, really hard, like a hard cookie, a rock-hard cookie. Why would you want to do that? Apart from your dentist cheering you on so you can pay for his kid's education with your chipped teeth, why do you want choose something so rock-hard?
Yeah, I didn't get it either when I first tried one years ago. But I was chatting with a Swiss friend about Tirggel, and he actually got all misty-eyed and said it should be eaten slowly and savored, letting each bite rest on your tongue to slowly dissolve, and then it releases the honey overtones and the delicately spiced undertones. I gotta tell you, I'm on that page now. I love a well-made one with a nice cup of coffee or tea.
A Tirggel connoisseur there. It sounds like he's drinking a wine. But they sound difficult to make.
Yeah, they are. And very few places actually make Tirggel nowadays. The largest and best known being Honecker Tirggel and Suter. If you've ever baked with honey, it can be really tricky. But basically, Honey and sugar are melted together, then diluted with rose water. This is left to cool, then mixed with flour and spices such as cinnamon, ginger, anise, coriander, and cloves. The dough is really, really stiff. From here, the dough's rolled thin and pressed into the mold. The cookies are then baked at 350 degrees Celsius, which is 660 degrees Fahrenheit, for 90 to 100 seconds. Honecker shared a recipe for the home cook on their website, which involves using the broiler in your oven and just cranking it up to full heat. I made a batch last week, and really they tasted wonderful. If you don't want to make your own, they can be found at some specialty bakeries in the Zurich area. Mass-produced versions can also be found at some of the larger grocery stores. I'm also going to post a link to Honecker Tirggel, who only make Tirggel, and Suter. They both have factory stores, and you can mail order directly from Honecker.
All right, that's the Food Scout for this week. My thanks to Amy Eber. Amy will post a link to the translated recipe for Tirggel with step-by-step pictures at our website, worldradio.ch.